Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nidus Anarchy series. I'm your host Adam, the co-founder and CIO of Nidus, and today we're going to talk about how decentralized identity could be the solution to preventing deepfakes. So, previous podcast I was talking about how AI is going to be the doomsday weapon. It's going to take everyone's jobs, and people are legitimately freaking out. And one of the things that we want to talk about is deepfakes, because that is also another whole nother realm of AI that is also terrifying, which is you don't know if the person that you're talking to or the video that you're watching really is that person, because AI can absolutely make anyone look like anyone, sound like anyone. So how do we really know? So actually, in the last video, there was a comment by EA2C857. I wasn't sure if this was a real person. Ian says it is, so if it's not, it is his fault. But case in point, decentralized identity could prove that this is a real person, and we wouldn't even have this conversation. But anyway, the question/comment goes, I'm getting tired of stuff generated by AI. Images and text feel hollow. I think there will be people that also dislike consuming stuff made by AI, and there should be a system in place to verify authenticity as it's done with encryption keys. This might be a measure for a little bit, since eventually it's going to be so good that AI won't feel as fake, but I still think that AI should be regulated in a way that it should give some kind of information that we can track. So he's definitely right in the sense that AI is going to be getting better. And this kind of goes to the second comment, which is from Happy Stash. Call center, phone company support, help AI bots are the absolute worst. If I have to use one, I won't. I got the same question regarding answered to me 3 or 4 times in a row and decided I'm not talking to a company bots yet. So this goes on for a while. But so to that point, right now, what people are using for call center bots, as you say, yeah, it's annoying. And you can definitely tell. And it's like you're sitting there pounding on the 0 key or saying operator, 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 right, to get past the prompts. But eventually, and I don't mean eventually like the tech will get there, because the tech is already there. Like I said, I'll find a clip that will play over top of this to show you a person who's been trained, like their voice has been trained into a model and then replayed by AI. You will not tell the difference. So the quality is absolutely already there. It just hasn't been turned into a service yet that call centers can use for real time. Because right now, the generative aspect of AI takes a lot of compute power. So to do that real time, that's the problem. It's really just having the compute power for real time AI translation, or into that language of that person, is just too intense right now. But obviously that's a compute issue and software issue, and that will be overcome. So we will be able to have prompts that sound like real people, but getting it to real time, that's where we're going to have to wait a little bit down the road. Now, you will not be able to tell the difference, as like the video that will show you what real AI can do from a voice perspective.
Today I go from just Ashley to AI Ashley on Live 95.5. So let's see how close the AI sounds to me. Today I go from just Ashley to AI Ashley on Live 95.5. Let's see how close the AI sounds to me.
But now the question really comes down to is, how can decentralized identities help prevent all this? So with a decentralized ID system, you control your identity. And generally, let's just, for argument's sake, there's a bunch of ways to do this, but we're going to say that your decentralized ID is stored on your phone. Okay, so you control your identity with your phone. So now you don't have a username and password stored in all these different systems. Like YouTube doesn't have your username and password. Meta doesn't have your username and password. Your insurance company doesn't have your username and password. There's no more users and passwords stored everywhere. So therefore, there's no more breaches. Your stuff can't get stolen because it only exists on your phone. We won't go into the technical details of how this all works right now, just because there's tons of videos out there. I've even covered it myself. But the gist of it is just that when someone says, hey, I want to log in, you can just tap a button on your phone, and therefore you're logged in with credentials stored on your phone that they don't have. Magic ensues, and now you're logged in. Now the question is, how does this prevent deepfakes, and how does this help this kind of bot spammy thing happen from comments, and how do I know this is a real YouTube person or a real person that's posting this online? And yes, we can do it with public-private keys. That's just one way. But as an example, with this, to show how this works, would be this. I want to post something online. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have my face scanned into the app itself, but kind of like a Face ID. Right? I'm going to use Face ID to go into my phone, and when I open up the app, I've proven it's me, and then when I post something, it will say, nope, I know. I'm not going to tell you who this is, but I can 100% verify that this is a real person, not a bot, because I've scanned the face using Face ID. So with that, you can now say, oh, this person really is the person that you're looking online because it's been verified through decentralized means, through zero knowledge proofs. Or it could be saying, hey, this comment was posted by a real person. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I can at least verify that, yes, it is a real person, and it was not a person, they don't have like 12,000 accounts. It's just one single account from one person. Now, one thing I want to talk about, really important here, is the delineation between a liveness check using your face and Face ID on the iPhone. There's a huge misconception here, and a lot of big vendors are even getting this wrong. So if you're saying that I'm going to protect my credentials using Face ID, and that is then verifying that I am Adam, and therefore I have access to my verified credentials in the app, and that's good enough, that is completely wrong. Okay? So Face ID just means that the face stored in the phone is allowed to access that application. It doesn't mean it's actually the identity that is tied to the actual details of these verified credentials. So let's say you have a verified credential wallet like Entra or a bunch of other ones that are out there. And in there you have your decentralized ID stored for, let's say, your driver's license, or you have one for your student ID, or you have one of your college transcription, whatever, and all these verified credentials in your wallet. Now, that wallet is protected with Face ID. So the demo and the big conversation that you'll see from these guys says, oh, well, look, once you do because to put it in there, right, to get that driver's license or your passport in there, you do a liveness check, you do that. Then you take a picture of your passport or your driver's license. That goes out for verification and comes back and says, yes, that person that did the liveness check, that is their wallet. The problem is after that, right, and which is going to be more the case, which is, if someone has access to my phone and their face is registered to my phone, then they could be me. Because if I open up that verified wallet, like as an example here, wait, I'm going to go do this. Watch. So I'm just going to record my phone so I can share this with you guys here in a second. So I use Brave for my browser, and I also use Face ID to lock it, so therefore only me can get in there. I don't want my kids getting into my browser and messing stuff up. Also, I think everything should be locked down as much as possible. I wish every app had a Face ID check before opening, but we won't go there. So I'm going to open up I'm going to open up Brave, and there we go. I did a Face ID check, and now I'm in my browser. Yay, everything worked. Now, at this point, let's pretend that this is my wallet, right? So now what's going to happen is it's going to say, oh, well, here's your driver's license and here's your whatever. So now if I'm on some web app and I'm saying, and it says, hey, you want to buy alcohol, I need to prove you're 21, but we use decentralized IDs from verified credentials from these trusted wallets. And then you open up that wallet, well, I just scan my face, and then I tap on my driver's license, and it sends it to them, says, hey, look, yes, this person is 21. We verified it through zero knowledge proof. Yay, you can let them buy alcohol. It's okay. Well, what if my kid is sneaky and they record their face in my phone? We all know kids, they will figure out ways to do things, and they'll get, they'll like, hey, let me borrow your phone for a second. I want to show you a cool video. And then they're going to go in super fast and save their face or something, right? You don't even know it. So case in point, like I just showed you, I just opened my phone with my face. Now, Ian, come over here real quick.
Oh, yeah.
So, hold on. I got to start recording again because it stopped. iPhone's great. I just wants to get the recording on. So I had Ian save his face to my phone ahead of time as a alternate face in here. So go ahead and open Brave.
All right. And yes, it checks
And
out.
there you
It
go.
works.
See? So my face has nothing to do with securing access to my credentials of a decentralized wallet or a verified credential. It's just saying that the face stored in the phone is considered okay. And you can't even do that on an app by app basis, right? It's just any face that's in there can open up anything where Face ID is required. Same thing with fingerprints. Same thing. It's not, it's not biometric specific, and it's not vendor specific. This is just how they all work. So Face ID is not you. It's just a stored face in your phone can get into it. Now, how hard is that to do? Well, if you see what someone's PIN is, which also isn't hard, if you're at the bar, just stare at someone, or even easier, zoom in with your 3x, hyper zoom phone camera and record them when they just tap in their pin real fast, like from across the bar. So now you have it, and then sit there and watch it in slow-mo, memorize it, and then when they go and set their phone down for a second, go in the super fast, type in their pins or the face. Now your face is in their phone. Now you can unlock anything you want in their phone with Face ID, and you could be them with their verified credentials. So that's why liveness checks are massively more important when talking about decentralized identities and protecting the identity of these verified credentials than it is that it has Face ID or some biometric around it. So that's the one big thing. The other thing I want to talk about with decentralized identities is that decentralized identities are not decentralized if someone owns them. So if you are using a verified or a trusted wallet provider, I don't want to name names right now because I'm not trying to bash anybody. It's the nomenclature that's going around. And I've talked about this before, but if you're using a specific vendor, then your verified credentials are stored in their wallet that they control and they have access to, and then they can also lock you out of. So if you're using something where you have to pay someone for access to your decentralized credentials, it's not decentralized, it's centralized. It's your usernames and passwords aren't in Google, they're not in Meta, they're not in, Salesforce anymore. It's just that your verified credentials are now in vendor X's wallet software. And if for whatever reason they lock you out, well, now you don't have it again. So in my mind, in the purest sense of what decentralized identities and what self-sovereign ID is about, that's not really the best way to do it. You should be able to take those IDs and credentials anywhere with you, and no one should have control of them except for you. I think that's my open source old hacker mentality, kind of being an old curmudgeon, get off my lawn type stuff. But like I said before, no vendor, especially from the enterprise workforce world, is going to create these decentralized identity wallets and these systems and put tons of time and money in R&D and pay for all this stuff to just give it away for free and not worry about it. So in that sense, I do understand where they're coming from, and it's still a massive step in the right direction. It's still way better that this one place has your credentials, that even then they're still on your phone. They're still in you. It's just they have control of saying, oh, well, you know what? You didn't pay your monthly bill, so we're locking you out of the app. That kind of sucks. But at least it's not breachable, right? Like they're not owning it. They can't do anything. At least to the best of my knowledge, I don't believe those credentials are stored. I'm not sure. We'd have to go through vendor by vendor. But good news is we actually have a talk coming up with someone from Ping about Neo and their decentralized identity product, and we're going to be able to ask those questions. And that's super exciting to me. So I'm trying to get into kind of the vendor product owners for these decentralized ID products so we can really find out what's under the hood, how are they really doing it, what kind of improvements are they going to do, and what's their answers to these questions, right? Because I think these are super important questions we should know, and I have a feeling they figured it out, but we just need to know what it is. So that, in a nutshell, is how decentralized identities, one, work, and also how they'll help prevent deepfakes, right? Because if every message that I post online, or if I post a video of me and I have to do a liveness check, then, ta-da, it's actually the person. Now, if they're just saying, I just need to do Face ID, well, we're back to the same problem. Face ID is not going to solve it. And just to show you here real quick, what I'm going to do is I actually have a simple liveness test that I can show you how one works. It's really simple here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this page here, and I'm just going to start the liveness check. And it's just like this. Oop, hold on. Let me refresh. And this is a little demo app, so it's bound to be a little buggy. I just threw this together. Actually, one of our guys, one of our engineers threw this together, and it works great. So check this out. So move in, I'm going to hold still. It's going to throw this little epileptic color thing at me. And now I'm done. And now it's verifying the liveness of me. Now it comes back with a confidence score of 99.67% that this is a real live human being. This has been vetted up against holding up videos and photos, 3D masks, all kinds of things. So it's extremely accurate. And what's amazing about this one is you don't need LiDAR of any kind. So you don't have to use the LiDAR on the phone to do the 3D modeling of the phone. You don't have to do the winking and the weird prompts that it tells you to do. And it's all been vetted out to be as good, if not better, than the current LiDAR ones that are out there. So we can do this with any camera, a webcam, one on your laptop, your phone camera, whatever. So the technology is getting better for these liveness tests. So now where the next step we want to go to is when you open up that decentralized wallet, instead of it just doing a Face ID to say, hey, is there a face stored on the phone? Therefore, I'll let you have access to be this person anywhere. It will do a liveness check on launch. And at that point, we now know that face really is the real identity tied to these identities I'm stored in my decentralized wallet. And therefore, will allow them in. And you could even take it a step farther. You could even have an app like, even on my phone, I could have one that's of me, I could have one of my wife, one of my kids, whatever, and then therefore I could just like, oh, my wife's with me, she could scan her face and then her credentials show up because she's essentially approved it with her face. So there's all kinds of cool stuff that can come down in the future, but I think decentralized identity is going to be a huge player in preventing deepfakes, which, as we're seeing, is going to be a massive problem. So check it out. Just look more into decentralized identities. Check out wallets. If you want to look with some free stuff, check out MetaMask and get yourself an Ethereum wallet. They're free. You can send crypto back and forth, but it lets you really start playing around with public private key infrastructure using decentralized identities. And it's all out there. There's tons of documentation, tons of videos for you to play with, and there's even apps on your phone that you can do it. So if you have any other questions, obviously hit me up in the comments of any of the videos. You can find us on all the different social media platforms. You can even email me, adam@nidus.com. I will eventually respond when I have time. But I really love the comments because I really think that starts the conversation. I think that's the most important part about everything that we're doing here is just having that conversation and working through these problems, because we are at the infancy. And I think as long as we continue these conversations and have smart debates about it, we're just going to develop better technology that's going to help us all in the end. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Later.